Welcome to the My Creative Days podcast, where we will talk about all things DIY, home decor, decorating tips, and creating a beautiful home on a budget. I am hoping our time together will spark a creative idea, help you plan your next DIY, or inspire you to finally tackle that project you keep putting off. Grab your favorite cup of motivation and let's chat. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm going to talk about, are you in a rut? So my mom used to always call it, I'm in a rut. Are you in a rut? Or, so we have been in our house for over 20 years. I'm trying to do the math. Over 20 years. And for the longest time, I did not, we so happy here. We live on a dead-end street. At the end of the street, there is a big field, and then there's like a little creek that runs down there. And so our neighbors have all been great. We moved into a house that was built we bought it from the original owners. So they built the house. And then they didn't want to do stairs and stuff. They got to an age, they lived here, they raised 4 kids here. And then they, didn't want stairs and just were going to move into a condo, right? So they didn't have to take care of so much. So that's when we bought this house, and we moved into an established neighborhood. A lot of the people, when we first moved in, were original owners. We had one neighbor that actually grew up in the house, and then he bought it from his parents so he could stay here. My sister at one point actually lived across the street from us when they moved back from Arizona. And then just, we still, like, the people to the right of us are original. The people across the street and 2 people across the street, kind of directly across the street from us, are original to when we moved here, right? And they had lived here years before, like had raised kids here, right? So we love that about it, but we're also, since the whole pandemic, I would probably say maybe after the pandemic, when it really started, we're just feeling that itch to want to find something else. And so here's the thing with me. If you followed anything on My Creative Days, if you have followed any of my social media channels, my website, my YouTube, I get bored easily. It's so funny. I get bored easily with things like, decorating wise, or I want to change things up, or I need to just organize something to feel like I changed something up. I've done it since I've had my own bedroom in my parents' house. It's like this thing. Like, I would just redecorate or reorganize, every couple of weeks. It was just something I did. And so I still do that here. We have made over every square inch of this house a few times, as we've gone through, and our kids have gone through different stages. And so we're just to a point now where there really isn't much more we can do here. And when, a few years ago, we started flipping houses, which was amazing because it kind of gave us that project, that huge project, right? It wasn't just like a small project, a piece of furniture or, something else small. It was a big project, right? Their whole houses. And that was great. And then the pandemic hit, and then it was just, and then the whole real estate thing was crazy, and it just wasn't as easy to find them. I'm always on the hunt for the next flip house, always. And so, but it's just proving to be harder. And now there's like no inventory, and it's just that whole roller coaster. But I've just felt like I have been in a rut. I'm not really inspired in our house. Here's the funny thing about it too. I'm not somebody that likes change. It's so funny. Like, I guess here's another thing that I'm learning too. I like change that I can control. This whole control thing, I'm learning more and more about it. And that's a lot of my problems or anxiety come from things that I can't control. I'm somebody that does not like to fly, but yet I want to travel. So I can't control the plane, right? It's a huge anxiety ridden experience for me. Like, it is heart palpitations, and like it's just like it's a thing. It's a thing, and I know the more I do it, the better I'll get at it. The better it'll be. That's what everybody always tells me, but it's something that I really struggle with. And so just other things that I can't control that are bigger things, like that's where a lot of like the anxiety or stress comes from for me. But yet I find myself like, if I were to change a bedroom to a bathroom, or you know what I mean, or I flip flop the kitchen to the whatever, like that change wouldn't be, stress. I mean, it would be, stressful in the fact, well, like you want to get it done, or, to do it right and all that, but not like anxiety. And, so it's just a weird thing. But right now, I'm just not inspired in our home. I'm not, and Matt's feeling it too. And it's probably because of me, but we're just needing a little bit of a change. And so, there are things that I do when I get in these little ruts, and these little like, one thing I love to do is I love to clean, cleaning our house and organizing our house. So I will do that sometimes when I'm not feeling inspired, and I'm just like, just having a clean and organized house helps me feel like, okay, it's just like that and again, it's because I can control that, right? So these outside things that I can't control, the real estate market, if it's the interest rates, the lack of projects or the lack of houses, the inventory being down or the inventory being up, or like those major things, right, that I can't control. What can I control? One thing that I've asked before is when you are super stressed, or like you can't, like, what is something you do when you're stressed? And I know a lot of people will say, not a lot of people, but some of my friends are like, I exercise. And that's something like when I'm super stressed out, I cannot like stop my mind, and I cannot just focus on that workout. It's something I can't do, because I have to stay busy. So it's like, you're on a treadmill or you're on a whatever and you're working out, but you're not really busy, if that makes sense. When I am super stressed, I need to find something that I control. And so cleaning, I'm constantly busy, right? It kind of just keeps your mind going. And so that's something that I do a lot. Cleaning and organizing. I mean, it's not like I'm doing it every day, but that is something that I find helps when I'm, in this rut. Another thing I like to do is I like to move around my furniture, just in a new way, even if I left it there for a week. It's like I'll put the sofa in a different place, and it's like, I really don't like this here, or there's no way this is going to work for how we use this room, but I just leave it there, right? Because it's just totally new, right? It's a whole new room that way. I also like to, I'm recording this now, yard sales will be coming up in about another month. And so going out and just finding that project or that new piece to add to your home, or that new whatever, that helps a lot too. Thrift stores are the same, estate sales, you can do that as well. But it just gives you that something, because I get bored with what I have here in my house, and we're both feeling the nudge a little bit that, this is probably not going to be the forever house. When the kids were growing, when we were raising the kids here, we had talked about moving multiple times and never wanted to move, never wanted to get out of this house, never. And so it was like, okay, it's great. It was, some people have moved, and, some of their friends that they had here have moved. And so now that they've gotten older, they're like, okay, yeah, we can see ourselves moving. But then it was like, we added the back porch, and we just started adding things and doing things to the house that, okay, if we're going to stay here, let's make a few adjustments. And like I said, things have changed over the years as the kids have gone through different stages, and, they didn't need a toy room, but now, Gabrielle needed an art space, and we needed kind of a workout area, and, like all those kinds of things. We started doing that, but forever, the kids did not want to move. And so we just never took it seriously until, like I said, the last couple of years. And then all these things, are out of our control with how crazy the market and everything is. And it's just not as easy. And it's same with the flip houses. Like if I had a flip house there for like 5 years, we had 1 or 2 every year. And then we did have our rental duplex that we would, you'd have to work on that. And then like we redid the entire top apartment, and then the guy that had lived there forever finally moved out and we were able to do the whole bottom, apartment. And so, that was just like, that filled my soul in that creative, aspect, and I'm learning too that I have to stay creative. And being creative doesn't mean you have to paint masterpieces and know how to watercolor, right? Creative, it's creative thinking and creative ways to do things and creative ways to, stay on a budget and still make over a whole house and, those kinds of things. That just, it's something that I have always been like, but now that once you get older, you like really understand, like, no, this is part of me. This is something that has to be part of me forever in some capacity. Like I said, it's creatively, it's shown up. And like I said, I've been working on a lot of this. It's shown up in different areas. Like creatively, like I set a goal that we wanted to be debt free. And so creative ways to save money, make more money, like those kinds of things like that. That's just what I need to be doing at all times. And so now I'm getting to do it in my business, right? Creative ways to, reach new people and to help more people, right? Like that's my passion right now. It's like, I'm just so passionate about helping other people, build their businesses and those kinds of things. And so, but anyway, it's just when you're in a rut like this, you sometimes feel a little bit isolated and a little bit like just in it. And here's another thing. And I do think it's winter because now that I can, every day now that it's nicer weather, I don't have to bundle up and wear a hat and gloves and a scarf and a coat and boots and everything to go and walk hilly. So I can just, for the lunch hour or whatever, I can take her and we can go to a park and we can, walk around the neighborhood, whatever it is. But just being able to get outside and the seasons, totally. My mom really is affected by seasonal affect disorder and like she is somebody that works in her yard for like 10 hours a day. That's something I never got from her. My sister got more of that. My younger sister did. But Matt loves to be out in the yard. But anyway, so I think it's just like the time of year too. I just, getting out more and, but I just have felt like I've been in such a rut. And so I thought some of these things that I do may help you if you've been feeling in a rut or you're just feeling like your home is, what else can you do to your home to make it over? As I'm looking around in my office, there's just not that much more that we can do in our home that, for makeover reasons. And especially if we are thinking about selling here, you don't want to invest more than what it's worth in the end. Again, when we were like, okay, we're staying here for the long run, that kind of thought didn't really cross our minds, but when we were doing things to the house, but we bought the house and it was original, which that is our goal, to find something original or something that just needs updated. Neither one of us have ever felt the need to build, but bringing something, that's original or just needs some updating is like, that's our jam. We love that. We both love that. So yeah. So, just getting out of the house and just, window shopping or, just driving in a neighborhood that you love or, just going down a country road or something, just going for a drive. That helps sometimes too. Just walking away from your spaces or your, and maybe you're not somebody that's like, what else can I do to my house? You're thinking, I have so much to do in my house. First of all, I would tell you, start small, right? Just do one thing. It's so crazy, but just a little, last year was it? I think we finally did we had never done anything in our main bathroom. We have two bathrooms, our main bathroom. What's that mean? Anyway, our one bathroom. And so we got new flooring and we did this wall treatment and, we got a new vanity and then, we had never touched the linen closet. So actually taking everything out and painting that linen closet and putting in some new wood shelves and just like that alone can make you feel like your whole house is different, And so start small. If you feel like there's so much you want to do to your house, maybe it's budget restraints or you just haven't felt like really diving deep into a big project, even though you really want it done, start small. Paint a closet. Literally take out everything out of your closet in your bedroom. Has it ever been painted? Paint it. And then as you're putting the clothes and stuff back in, maybe you get all wood hangers so things just look better in there. Maybe you get some organizational, closet, pieces for shoes, or, maybe they're like cubby things that you put in the closet for, like folding sweaters or something. And then as you put it all back in, you're going through your clothes and purging what you don't want and all of that. And then just having that closet done. Like that just makes a big difference. And it just helps you, it helps motivate you. But there's actually since it's not such a huge makeover where like if you were gutting a kitchen, it would be months, right? But like it's an instant satisfaction, like an instant result. You can see, you can see the before and after. Not like it's going to take 30 minutes, but maybe it's a weekend project that you can do. So just start small. And here's another thing that it's like I told my mom for Mother's Day, I was getting my sister and her whole family and then my whole family together. And it's like trying to schedule us so that we can all be there together at one time. It gets so hard when your kids are in so much and they're in different school districts and now they're all working and have, their jobs. And so it's just hard to get everybody together, but it's like, now can I just go to somebody else's house and start doing things? And I had all these plans made and we were going to work on stuff on the outside of her house. She could make a list of what she wanted us to do. And then I was going to do a ton of stuff on the inside. And then she's like, I don't know if I want you to. Anyway, so it's like, go to a friend's house, go to a sister's house, go to your mom's house, see if you can, maybe she would like her room painted or she would like you to come over and help, rearrange the furniture, move the rug around, or you know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's not just your house. Like if you're feeling that, you're just in a rut in your own house, go to somebody else's. Sometimes it's when you're living in it and you see it and then, you're thinking about, it's your budget or you're just worried about how much it's going to cost, or it's, maybe somebody else that's close to you has all that already figured out, right? Like my sister's always like, will you please come help me get organized? Maybe that's what it is, whatever it is, maybe they've got all that figured out. They just need you to go over and execute it. Go do that. Get out of your own house and put that energy into somebody else's house. And maybe that'll just help you get, more energy or get you out of a rut in your own house. Like I said, that's kind of where I am right now. We don't have a flip house. We've been looking at, oh my goodness, some of the houses that we've gone by or through. I've shared some of them on Instagram, and others it's just like you drive by and you're like, the whole foundation is caving in. So nope, we don't even need to go see that one. Now I tell my realtor, I'm like, if it's something that I'm thinking about or whatever, I always say, before I waste your time and our time, let me just drive by it real quick. So if it's a house for us to move into, or, she knows some of our other goals with what else we're doing, but I'm like, let me just drive by it first. And then we'll schedule something if I think it's something that could be a possibility. But then you drive by and you see like the foundation's caving in and it's like, nope, that's not going to be something that we're going to want to get into. So yeah, if you're in a rut like I am, I feel like I've just been in a rut for a while now. I hope some of these things are helpful to you. I always say, and it's something, again, that you learn over time, but everything happens for a reason, right? We are all where we're supposed to be right now. There are some things, some outside things, again, that Matt keeps bringing up to me that he feels like this is the reason why we, why we're here, or just in the place that we are right now. Just there's, family health issues, and there's, we do help a lot of our neighbors out around here that are older. And so who knows, right? Who knows? But we need to make the best of where we are. And this is not even just in your house and just but in your life, right? Like, I think that we are always looking for the next best thing, or we're always, trying to chase something down, or, let's be present where we are. I have to remind myself of this. And this is for me as much as it is to like one other person that needs to hear this, but to be present where you are right now. And so when I find myself sometimes, kind of like, oh, I'm in a rut, or I just wish we could find that flip house, or there are 3 houses right now that I really, really want. Why isn't somebody getting back to me? I do stop myself now and I repeat 3 things or find 3 things right now to be grateful for. And sometimes it's the smallest things, like the sunshine today, or, whatever, being able to have groceries in the refrigerator right now, to bigger things that goals that we've reached and things that we've done that I need to be grateful for in that moment. So when you find yourself, no matter what it is, like I said, it may not be, you want to find a flip house, or you're looking to move or thinking about moving and what you really want. And that maybe it's your job, maybe it's your kids, whatever it is. Stopping yourself, be present where you are, find 3 things to be grateful for in those areas. And it's super helpful when you're having those. Sorry about that. A kid came down and he needed something. So anyway, so that's proved to be super helpful to me. I know that we have to always be grateful for what we have, what we've been through. There's a reason for every season, and knowing that is super helpful. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. I've been just kind of feeling this way in a lot of different areas. Like I said, it may not be your house. It may be work. It may be, family. I've got both of those as well that I'm dealing with too. So it's just, sometimes it's just nice to hear somebody else is going through it, or somebody else, or like a little something, a little tip or something that somebody else is doing that I start, that sounds great. And I start trying and it works for me. I always say that, when I'm reading a book or listening to a podcast, or, maybe it's a magazine article or whatever it is, it's so funny because every time I do, there's like one sentence, or there's one tip, or there's one, do this, try this, that I'm like, this is why I read this whole book, or this is why I sat and listened to this hour-long podcast. I needed to hear this little blurb. I needed to read this little blurb. It happens to me every single time. And so I'm hoping you can find some of that in any of these podcast episodes that I have. That's my goal. And so, yeah, I hope that was helpful. Please share this podcast with other people that you think might be interested in it. I truly appreciate you. If you ever have a podcast topic that you would like me to discuss, or like you have a question, please send them in. Those are my favorite podcasts to do when I have like a list of questions, or I just have one question that I know I could, talk a little bit longer on. Those are my favorite podcast episodes to record. So email me, Lindsay@mycreativedays.com. Reach out to me on Instagram @mycreativedays. I would love to hear from you. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I am grateful that you tune in every week and that you share the show with your family and friends. I love having creative chit chats with you, and my hope is that this podcast will inspire you to try a new project, start a DIY that you've been putting off, and decorate your home exactly how you want it. There are a few ways you can help us with the podcast. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you could take a few minutes to leave the podcast a review, that would help us so, so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to our chat next week. Bye-bye.